Okay.
But I'm ready whenever.
All right. Well, it's the mic is yours.
All right. Hold on a second here. Okay. I hope this is still in order. Nothing's titled, but here's one of the poems I wrote. Unhoused folks all day on survival mode, learning learning fast that the street also has some codes. People deprived but not using their mouths to speak. The pride inside keeps the hunger alive, so many of them will never survive. So much red tape while girls get raped and even men too. Sex trafficking around, yet the mention still astounds because we're not educated on the things going on all around. At the same time, we all choose what we want to know, and we all choose the things that we don't. But we need to choose wiser because the things can happen to anyone, and the possibility of being unhoused is closer than we think for everyone. I have been there. It wasn't fair, but I choose to use my pain. I have eyes for the despised. I have love. I have hope. I have grace. I see their pain, their clothes with stains. I see their face. I see them behind the bushes, on the benches, behind the fences, beyond the trees, in the alleys, and on the streets. Till the cops come along with the same dance and the same song, because policy states that they're trespassing. I feel like I'm missing out on things all the time. How did becoming homeless become a crime? Is this really what we're teaching our youth to be fine? There's not enough shelters for them to go. Oh, sure, we shelter them when it snows, but we do the same for our pets, don't we? But even our pets have a place to go pee, and they don't. It's cold outside. Let's keep people alive, but not with band aids. Let's help people thrive. And how do we sleep also knowing that there's vets outside, the very people who fought for our lives with their pride? We're tearing down people who once fought for our freedom. We're tearing down the very people we should be lifting up and trying to lead them. This unhoused situation is not a situation anymore. It's a world epidemic truly needing better solutions, and it's an epidemic that is now at most of our front door.
Woohoo! Yes. Yes, yes.
So that leads me to my vet's poem, which I know you guys heard, but it's I have to do. You can't dispute that we recruit and salute the same people who live life destitute. Even worse to me is that I'm included in that we. Worse because they are worthy of honor and so much more, not to have closed doors and live life poor. Worse because they shouldn't have to beg and have chances that are slim, or have us staring, reminding them of missing limbs. Why should someone who's fought for your life and mine be treated like this? Please tell me why. Do we think enough about what they have lost for us to win the battle? Or are these men and women just the country's cattle? I can't say that I have. I can't say that I won't, but I know that I don't. Do we think enough about how they died for our fight? Do we think enough about what we can do to help, or do we say I might? Every time I see a vet with nothing, there's a hurt I feel inside. And sure, I'll give them a little something, but I'm sure it hurts their pride. Why should this even be the case for them? To have to sleep on benches where the lights are dim, while this country they fought to save goes on with his day to day, like this person who's a hero is just another woman or man. Why can't we treat them like warriors? I just can't understand. Do we think enough about what they have lost for us to win the battle? Or are these men and women just the country's cattle? Why are they supposed to come back and figure it all out, just like an inmate who's done a long bid, or like they left because they just decided to get off the grid? Why can't they pass the ball to us, the people of the country they fought to protect? Weren't they out there putting their lives on the line for this country we put on a shrine? Do we really need to act like what's mine's is mine's? Didn't they give up all for you and millions more they never knew? I'm not saying we don't do anything for those men and women who fight to protect this country. I'm saying we're not doing enough, and there's so many still going hungry. It's not about helping medically with physical lacerations or offering them therapy for some mental rehabilitations. We need to serve them because they served us, and stop looking at these needing vets in disgust. I hope moving forward we all do more than what we used to, because they deserve more than just a thank you and a salute. Do we think enough about what they have lost for us to win the battle? Or are these men and women just the country's cattle? You want me to keep going?
Sure.
Hello?
Take us there.
Okay. I remember sleeping on a train. I remember being in the streets wishing it wouldn't rain. I remember being raped and abused. I remember my attackers being completely amused. I remember I remember feeling broken and ashamed. I remember feeling like my family was to blame. I remember always wondering why me. I remember not understanding how it all came to be. I'm so thankful that this is now just part of my past. I'm so thankful that God did not let those seasons in my life last. I realized later that the reason for the seasons were me. But even though I didn't understand how it all came to be, I realized later that me surviving what I've been through was not of my own doing. And it was not just because I am strong. I survived because God was with me all along. And now, some years later, I'm out in the streets again. But this time, I'm on the other end, dealing with people who may be in the season I once was in, hoping to convince them that this is not the end.
Amen.
More? Okay. I see the pain behind some smiles. I recognize it because I've been there for a while. I re- I remember feeling like a lot of these people feel. I remember when things were so bad, wondering how this could be real. I remember feeling broken. I remember feeling ashamed. I remember having nothing, not a single dollar to my name. I remember being overlooked and also being taken advantage of. I remember thinking some situations were kosher. I remember thinking I was in love. I remember lots of guys. I don't remember hearing names. I remember feeling lost. I remember thinking I would go insane. I remember being robbed. I remember being raped. I remember being cold. I remember the days I had not ate. I know what it is to be hurt by the very people you expect protection from. I know what it is to have plenty. I know what it is to have none. I remember smiling through all of it too. I remember smiling just like these people do. Should I hit you with the last one or you good?
You have a very good. It's very interesting. Very good poetry.
Beautiful. I love it. It's so sad, but it's also beautiful.
Powerful.
I want to hear the end of the story. Sorry.
All right, last one. Sleeping on sleeping on frozen benches. Oh, hold on, my computer's bugging. Sleeping on frozen benches with frostbitten toes and frozen boogers down the side of their nose, wet sleeping bags and blankets to drag around while they're shuffled from one end to the other of the town, backs being hunched from the constant need to crunch down to stay warm as they get hit with storm after storm. Winter elements, just one of the battles they have to face, another being frowned upon and treated like they're a total disgrace. Yes, some of these people have more integrity than you. Some of these people are more humble than you, too. Just because a person is homeless, it doesn't mean that they're a bum. Some of these people have had lives you can only imagine. Some of these people out there had houses. Some could have been almost as big as mansions. Some of these people are out there because they lost their job. Some of these people are out there because COVID put them in a situation that was really hard. Some of these people who are out there fought for our country and suffer from PTSD. And yes, some of these people are out there because they choose to be. But does that mean that they shouldn't matter, or we should throw up our hands? Shouldn't we care just the same and try to understand? There are people disappearing, being raped and abused, females being broken, getting accustomed to being bruised, people turning to drugs and alcohol just to get by, most not receiving any compassion or help. And we're wondering why. People with mental illnesses being discharged from hospitals with no follow-up, people waiting for caseworkers while they're sleeping on stairs, people getting vouchers for apartments that aren't even there, some getting apartments that need inspections, but there's no inspectors to inspect. I mean, the list goes on, and I'm only speaking on what I can reflect. Something got to give, and we need to make a stand. Something got to give before we lose another woman or man. There's people out there right now who don't want to be. I beg you to be more involved as I'm trying to be. Done.
Wow.
Amen. Amen.
And Sonia's not speaking, she's not speaking in a way to lecture us. She has created a ministry around serving the unhoused, drawing upon her life experiences. And I just can't, you just knock me out how you just put right out there, this is what happened to me.
Yeah. So when the shooting happened, I was triggered. I just recently learned that I had PTSD myself. And now I understand what that's all about. And it's really scary actually. You lose all control of your emotions. For a short amount of time right after the shooting, I was just like in a dark place. And I mean, I'm very open about my past, but I have been more open since. And I'm determined to let everything and anything that could possibly have power over me go. Whether I have to shout that on top of a mountain or tell a million people, I'm letting it go. I'm not holding no more stories in. I'm letting it all go. Nothing's going to have power over me anymore. Period.